Aloha, I'm Girard Middleton in my shop here, SoBe Surf and Paddle in Merritt Island, Florida. And yeah, I'm one of the biggest Infinity dealers, been selling the boards for a long time. And I get questions a lot about the difference between their new models and which one to buy and such. So I want to do just a compare and contrast video, a review of their latest models that come out. The one that came out last year is their pure twin fin, the Escape Pod. And then they came out with this year, kind of a hybrid, the Beeline Twin. And then they're more of pure performance shape, the V3, replacing the V2. Let's start with the Escape Pod. And again, it's a pure twin fin. They come with the bigger keel fins placed further back. And, you know, the benefit of these and that setup is it gives you a much faster board. And it's kind of a niche-y board. It's not going to be your one board for your whole quiver kind of thing. But super wide in the tail, a little bit more of a squarish shape. And a very slight double concave to a very slight V. So what this board is really good for, and it's really fun. You know, in mushy waves or even in bigger waves, it's not bad. But it gives you just so much speed off the bat. And but you got to get used to it. Foot placement and the way it turns. It's a twin fin, so with all that speed, you're going to do more gliding turns and not as many sharp bottom turns, vertical off the lip kind of surfing. So super lightweight. I mean, they started coming out with a thinner deck pad. It still has the grooves in it your toes can feel, and a ridge for your, for your foot to feel going back towards the tail. So, you know, Infinity does one of the best companies in the world. You know, they're owned and run by a pro paddle surfer and racer, Dave Bainey, awesome human. So they know what they're doing, quality control. They haven't sold out to a big factory yet. So honored to be their dealer. Real fun board. I mean, featherweight, unbelievably lightweight. Because of the outline, they're going to be more stable than you would think for the leaders. So you can actually, size down a little bit, step down for probably what you're used to riding for this twin fin model. So this year they came out with one that kind of fixes the, you can't really do the sharp turn, a little more vertical surfing issue. And I was so glad they did. The Beeline Twin goes a little more towards a performance shape. A little more pulled into the nose, a little more pulled in the tail. Still pretty thick rails all the way back. Hard but thick. And they use a little more traditional fins further up, but they put this nice fin box for a trailer fin, which helps you with those, when you get your speed, really sharp bottom turn, sharper anyway than the Escape Pod. Super fast. This is probably the fastest board. This would be the next fastest. It gets speed without even trying. So you can make those sections, and it's good for Florida. We're a Florida, we have crappy waves. So both these boards work really good in smaller, mushier surf, especially. So the Beeline Twin, it has more of a subtle, looks like a single concave into a V. And again, featherweight. They used a really thin pad. A great hybrid, different transition from the Escape Pod. Again, super lightweight boards. They ride like a smaller board, just as stable, for their size as they should be, but rides like smaller boards because they got the weight down so amazingly. Wow. All right. Now, the third one that came out this year, or the new one, is the V3, replacing the V2 Blurr. So this is more of your pure performance board for bigger waves, steeper waves, more of a pure get your speed up, bottom turn, vertical snap, sharp cutbacks, contest board, basically. Nice single concave into a double concave into a nice V in the tail. And 5 fin boxes, pretty much equal size fins, future style. They come with the fins. Of course, you can ride it thruster or quad. And like I said, just a real performance-y shape. So conditions, What conditions are they best for? The V3 really best for good waves, you know, bigger waves too. So it's not going to skip out doing a big hard bottom turn overhead waves with a nice wall. So if you like doing a hard bottom turn, V3 is a good board for you. Now the Beeline Twin, it'll ride in bigger waves, but you may want to put a bigger trailer fin in if you're riding bigger waves so it doesn't skip out or it holds better on those turns. See a big difference in the V3 and in these two boards. It has much thinner mass in the tail and a nice pintail. So that all helps you with those really sharp turns with a lot of speed. And then like I said, the skate pod, it's good and really fun in all conditions, but you're just not going to ride, you know, your shortboard style purely. Or your longboard style purely. It's a twin fin, pure twin fin. So lots of speed, sweeping, skatey turns, that kind of thing. Very stable, but you have to put a little more effort into, you know, steering, paddling out because it's just a wider, more of a square template. Nice rocker in the nose. The V3 has a little more rocker. Beeline Twin, somewhere in between. All right, I'm going to turn the boards over and we'll show you the deck pads and talk about that a little bit. All right, so we got the boards turned over. Let's look at the deck design. The V3, which is a more performance shortboard shape. They, from the V2 to the V3, they smoothed out the step rail. So it's not as much of a step. It's a real smooth transition. And they also put, like I said, the thinner deck pad on these. That's to reduce weight. If you're on the board a long time, you might miss the thicker, more cushiony deck pads, but like I said, they're made for performance and they got the weight down nicely. And thinner rails all around. One reason for the slope is you can get the volume more towards the middle and still have the harder, thinner performance edges or rails, we call them, of course. Now let's go to the Beeline Twin. Okay, so a little thicker throughout. Maintains that, you know, twin fin kind of thickness. But again, you got the nice rocker, the more pulled in nose. Like a subtle little wing in the tail to bring this in a little more. And the swallowtail back here that cuts out some of the flotation when you're doing a turn. Helps you with those turns a little better. And we'll go to the escape pod. You can see the huge slope here. They get a lot of volume in a small board. And that's one of the things that makes it nichey, but fun. So you can ride a small little corky board, but super fun, super thin deck pad. I mean, some people love the baby blue, some don't. I like it. I think it looks beautiful. And a lighter, whiter pad. All right, we have the 3 new models standing up here. You can really see the difference in outline. A little more of a boxy shape for the twin fin. Beeline Twin, a little more pulled in nose, that subtle wing, little thinner tail. And then the V3 with that nice pulled in, thin tail for performance, turning, and and much more pulled in nose. So you can see that. Again, I'm stoked to have been an Infinity dealer for so long and work with great people and family-owned business just like us. And also, they're depending on your surf style and your expertise and where you live, the kind of waves you surf, that'll determine what kind of boards you want. Call me anytime. We can have a nice long talk. I love what I do. I love teaching people. I love helping people get the right boards for all of that. And, we still out there longboard style, the new deal. The New Deal and the Wide Speed stay their best sellers. You know, that's why they kept those models. The New Deal, nice longboard if you want to cross step, you know, nose ride, you know, do some drop knee turns. That's the board for you. I love mine. And the Wide Speed is more of a fish shape. So I was begging Dave to make one like that, you know, like more of a fish shape for Florida. That's why they're mostly white, not hot. But it's also the only surf models they make in bigger sizes, like a 10.6, 11, lots of volume. So if you're a really big person and still want a performance, super lightweight SUP surfboard, you know, the Wide Speed is great for you. You can go a little shorter and still maintain some volume too for you know, small persons or whatever size you want. So yeah, stoked to have them. Stoked. We deal Infinities and Synovas for our performance SUP surfing. Stoked to be with Synova too, and they're family owned. They own their own factory, and super good quality and shaping. I'm loving riding my Ghost. I just got a Ghost at 7-Eleven. Awesome. But yeah, Infinities are my best sellers, and they're my most expensive board. So go figure. All right, again, this is SoBe Surf and Paddle. Our website is SoBe, like SOBE, surf.com. And YouTube channel, I think it's SoBe Surf Sup. Like and subscribe. If we're on, you know, seeing us on Facebook or Instagram, we have pages for both of those, SoBe Surf and Sup, I believe. And yeah, or you can always just call me. Our website, my cell phone number is right there. And again, we love helping people. This is my passion. I don't do foils. I don't do anything else but paddleboarding. So appreciate your business.